Hi guys, what's going on? My name is James, aka Furry K, and if you're new to the channel, I am a commentating YouTuber who sometimes does live streams. I just want to announce tonight I'm going to be doing a live stream over on my Twitch account at FurryGamer65. Okay, so I'm not gonna really be commentating, like giving my opinion on stuff and everything like that today. Today's video is more like just a tips and everything video. This isn't kind of my area of expertise. I'm kind of a novice when it comes to this area, but I'm gonna tell you guys how you guys can get into writing and give kind of a tips and tricks video on how to get into writing. The first thing you need to learn when you get into writing is, I'm gonna give the first rule of learn punctuation, learn where it is, learn where it needs to be. This is kind of my crux, you could say, or my Achilles heel problem. I have the hugest problem when it comes to punctuation. It's basically, punctuation to me is basically non-existent. For someone like me, because of just, I don't know, I forget how to do it, and I don't remember it very well, and when I get into writing, I get into this mode where I start typing out words, and I just put it on the page, and then that's it. That's the one thing I think people need to learn more than anything. I think people need to learn it as well because in our society nowadays, people don't use punctuation, people shorten words too much, they make it too simplified, and when they simplify it, you can't really create a good sentence or a natural sentence. You'll usually end up saying something wrong grammatically. You'll have grammatical errors, you'll end up saying things that don't sound intelligible. For me, I do this like almost on the daily when I'm in a hurry or when I need to just get a sentence out, and I mean, to myself, it kind of is just something I've noticed. I just had like this epiphany of figuring out, and I just thought I would really just get it out there and learn, because I've been trying to learn myself how to get better at not doing that. Because first off, my one job I want to get when I'm out of high school and I'm out there in the real world and I have a real job and I have, you know, side stuff I can do, I rather want to A, get into music, or B, get into like writing stories. Right now I'm working on a project for a story, which I won't be saying, but for that story I need to be mentally active, mentally able to create a good storyline, good characters, give a nice detail of how and when things happen. I also need to be able to describe characters in the best way possible so that you can, how do you say, create them, you know? I think the one hardest thing I have when I create a story is the ability to describe the character's voice, describe how the character dresses, describe how the character feels, and describe how the character's voice makes the other characters feel. Because when you describe that, then you can describe the emotions, how the other characters are going to feel later on in the story. That's how you make great villains, that's how you make great companionship with the other characters, and that is how a lot of stories end up being good. Look at the works of Stephen King, look at the works of James Patterson, you look at the works of great writers like Shakespeare, Edgar Allan Poe, who was crazy, but he was able to write short poems that, or just look at Lovecraft. Lovecraft created these characters, and he created these situations, the monsters, and he was able to describe them with great description in ways to where you felt the fear that those characters had. You were able to put yourself in the shoes of those characters and figure out how the heck you were gonna, you know, what the heck was gonna happen next. You never knew what was gonna happen next because you'd had the feelings, but you didn't know what to expect when the thing happened. Now everybody knows if you have read a Lovecraftian story, you already know how it's gonna end, you know. But for those who have not read Lovecraft's works, you need to read it. I highly recommend you read Lovecraft works, because that way, if you get the idea to start working and writing, you have, or if you plan on like watching horror movies, you plan on watching, reading anything horror or working in anything horror wise, Lovecraft is a great place to start, and is a great way for not just writers to start, but for storytellers to start, because Lovecraft was able to create amazing characters, well, mediocre characters, not great characters, but great monsters. With horror, great monsters are well designed through the creator. If you look at Tolkien, Tolkien was able to create complete worlds by using different mashable languages, was able to use how the world changed, was how each book was how the world changed, and how each of the characters were affected. If you look at his Hobbit, if you look at the three Lord of the Rings movies, those in the book, while not accurate in the movies, they were very, very, very descriptive. If you look at Game of Thrones, the different books of Game of Thrones, they were descriptive of how things happened, and it was well done. By the way, well done design. Even though the shows are, I mean, I'm not banging on the show and saying, oh, the show is complete garbo, or garbage, I should say. Another thing I have a problem with is saying stuff like garbo and stuff like, oh my god, OMG, and stuff like that. Intelligible writing and intelligible reading is something that I think the world is really lost in this age of technology. But I'm not going to step in there because that's something I want to work on for another video, and I probably will end up writing the script for the next video. I did not write a script for this video. This is just me really venting my ideas of writing as someone who is a writer. I wrote my first story I wrote at the age of, I want to say 14, and I think it was 22,000 people read it. And for my first story to have 22,000 people read it and have a lot of people like it, it was a shock to me, you know? It was something that I did not expect, especially for me as my first book. I was very, very grateful and shocked to see that people actually liked it and were actually happy to see how I did it. If you guys don't know the story, it was Stuck in the Furry World. When I first worked on it, it was when I was first actually in the furry fandom. I just gotten into the fandom through a friend of mine who, she's a real just treat to hang out with. She was a very good friend of mine. Still is. I haven't talked to her in a while, but she really is just the best of friends with me. And I have other friends, but she was kind of like, you always have those friends where they're family, right? They're like a second family to you. Well, she was kind of like my second family. Her and her sister were. They were very kind, always had my back, were always willing to protect me from people who just didn't like me. But I'll get into that next video. But yeah, this is kind of just me venting about writing and giving you guys kind of some tips on writing. Some books I want you guys to check out are H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. Another one I would say to check out is Tolkien's different Lord of the Rings series. Another one I would say to look out for is check out some James Patterson books. James Patterson and Stephen King are two of the, I think, the best authors I've read. But yeah. That being said, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out my social medias at Deadly Tracker. Also, if you guys want to have me, you know, share my book, or you guys want me to read my book on video, I will happily share my story of my books I've written, because I've done it before, and I'm planning on rewriting Stuck in the Furry World, so good luck to me, I guess, because I actually do plan on publishing it at some point or another. I'll have to learn how to punctuate correctly. I'll probably have my brother work with me on that, because he's a huge just punctuation annoying punctuation nerd, and he always gets mad at me when I don't punctuate correctly or I don't use grammar correctly. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I hope you guys liked the video, and also don't forget to hit the bell and the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.